Well, hey there, team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Stationeers. We're kicking along. Series is kicking back up a bit of steam as well. It's always an old favourite. There's a bunch of lurkers that love watching this, which is good because I love playing it. And I guess at this rate, we'll just be banging out lots of episodes. So we've got the mining down as we're gonna get it, right? I mean, obviously, if we really need a specific sort of resource, we're still gonna have to jetpack out there and go have a bloody look for it, right? But for the time being, we can just dig that sort of stuff down. Now, someone,
caution.
Shaz, I swear to God, that is not the best time to interrupt me. But you know what? You're right. I need to eat some potatoes. Thank you, Shaz. I'll even eat two. It just occurs to me now, mid-rant, because I don't think about this stuff before I start. Is this turned off? Yeah. This is sort of a really good source of income, potentially, right? Digging out all this ore. Like, the ore's handy, but you can do, like, a trading station. That's a whole thing that you can set up as well. So that's something that we want to potentially look at. I know people are excited for us to actually start building the base and getting it pressurized. Some of you guys have been talking about... I think a cooling issue. I would refer you back perhaps at a glance. I think someone was saying they were having a hard time cooling their base, and without going into it, I would probably say, are you doing something like this? Are you just putting a cooler in and expecting it to behave like a heater? Because remember, a heater, generally speaking, it has a heating element that, you know, ultra vibrates the particles, and that's how you generate heat. You're putting energy into a system. It's very easy to heat something compared to cooling, where it's an actual, you need to do a radiation exchange between two mediums, essentially, and usually in this game at least, you use the cold vacuum or the cold environment out here. Now here during the day, how warm is it externally? 11 degrees, you could probably still do that. So you need to set up, you have to make a fridge basically, or a cooling system, use radiators and that. It's probably the best way to do it because you need coolant. You need something to act as coolant. But we'll get into that because that's something that we're probably going to have to do anyway in this base. But yeah, so like, as much as I do want to build the trading platform, and my point on that was we could just keep digging shit out of the ground, whatever it is, but we can harvest quite a lot from these drill holes by the look of it. And then we could just sell it on the market to a trader sort of thing. I believe you can just sell everything. I'm not sure though, because I've never actually done it. But that's sort of my answer to dealing with that sort of economy. But then we go full circle as well. It's like, well, why even bother with this digging machine? I know that there's an organics printer that I'm pretty sure just uses electricity to make organics. And I think to myself, well, why not just do that? Just make a big fucking power grid and just run that machine and then sell whatever you make out of that. But we'll get to that. We're not in that space yet. We want to build the base, so we'll do that. All right, so we're gonna need another airlock, and to be honest, it would make a lot of sense to start building out of steel, right? This iron frame's already down, so we'll see about getting an iron sheet going. Though this worries me. Do we have any iron? Oh, also, I think I seen someone was commenting about power. Now, power controllers behind the battery for your general grid is fine, but I think maybe there is a philosophical concept that has been skipped over. In that, to run this logic system, you cannot, at a fundamental sort of conceptual level, have that rely on the power from the main grid. Because if we're talking almost philosophically about the theory crafting of it, this is required to generate the power, right? It cannot be contingent on the power grid, right? If the grid were to run flat, that wouldn't work. You wouldn't be able to start your dish. I understand we can just twist it and change it and realign it, but we're talking about sort of general conceptual theory of systems. You cannot have it, and that's why we've done all this effort to make this separate power source. Now, it's still a problem as well because we're getting that sort of brownout split issue, right? Ultimately, I think the best way to probably do it would be as a pass-through. So we would do a power, instead of splitting it, we should pass the power through that power controller. So that power controller is hypothetically always full. Oh my god, now I'm upsetting myself. The problem with that is that we can't have that drawing off that as well. So it's got to split, but the brownout's a problem. Actually, you know what would probably be the ultimate answer? Two separate grids. One that powers an entire grid dedicated, and it might only be one dish, dedicated to powering the battery that powers that, and then having a separate actual power grid. Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh my god, it's one of those things once you start digging down the hole. But anyway, I think I've seen that come up a couple of times, and that's my retort. That's my answer as to why I'm not doing it. Because it would defeat the whole purpose. You just can't have that behind the battery. Sheet. Anyway, just a few things there, because I do read the comments. Like, it's a strange thing to complain about, but the channel's obviously got a lot of activity recently. What just happened there? So I just do that on autopilot. So there's a lot of comments, and I do read them all, right? But I use like the app on my phone and all that sort of stuff as well, so I don't necessarily comment and respond, but I read all the comments. I do my best, but there's a lot, and that's a good problem to have. Okay, cool. So that's sealed off there. We're going to, God, let's just do the airlock door now, because that was actually quite intensive on iron. It was, wasn't it? 3 copper. All right, well, we'll get that iron back. We must be out of copper, actually. It's cool that we can swap straight through like that. Oh, I didn't check if we had iron in that. We might actually need some more iron. In fact, we will need some more iron. I believe there was iron down that hole. Like, we've got a tiny bit here. See, the grid worked its way up to full power, so at the moment we're not drawing too much. I know I topped it up with coal power, but for the most part, our grid doesn't need more than one dish. I know everyone seems so excited to make more dishes. I don't understand it. It's very strange. We'll get there eventually. Sorry, I just want to do one thing at a time. That should be enough for the copper.
Power low.
Yeah. Alright. We'll cook the last little bit of iron that we have. There we go, we got some iron in here. That might actually work out to be enough. 4 here and another 10 on the way. Ooh, yeah, no, 5. That's good. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll cycle my battery now while I think of it. There we go. Yeah, as long as this is holding draw, like holding full power, then that should be all good. But this brownout split is actually a big spanner in the works of what I'm sort of trying to conceptually do there. I wonder, using transformers, Nat, to throttle what's going through, we might actually be able to do like a combination of the split with a transformer to throttle, but also a pass through. So it keeps the battery always topped up. Oh, it's hard to be sure. But we don't want it ever drawing off the... Oh my god, I got to stop thinking about this. We're working on the airlock. Oh, that's cool that it shows the little power things poking out. That's nice. Very helpful, very nice. So we'll just do a 1 square airlock, just like we sort of did here. Shouldn't be a big problem. I guess we'll have to rig the airlock in and do it properly. Well, actually, no, we won't at first. First, we're just going to do a crowbar airlock, right? Because we need to be cycling pressure. So we'll worry about pressurizing and doing everything similar to how we're doing here, right? So that we can control it with a crowbar moving in and out. And then once we're doing that, we will worry about a cycling system as well. That just seems the natural order. Okay, so we're going to want a foundation there. That's fine. Now, I'm actually going to go the route of making a paper-thin base. I don't mind making it, like, instead of covering it with foundations and blocks and all that sort of stuff, I'm happy to make the ground like an iron frame, but we'll just do wall kits, I think. Now, can we do steel wall kits? Is that a... That kind of makes sense, right? Oh, wall kit. 1 steel. Okay. I think there's another type of wall, perhaps? I'm sure you guys will correct me. I like that we've got a nice, healthy community where I can reliably just sort of go, hey, am I doing something stupid here? Can you help me out? And you guys will go, yes. This is the problem. You are the problem. Alright. So we should be able to... Let's make 3 walls. That said, if we're going to do that, we should also use the existing iron wall kits that I've got. You know, don't waste anything. Let's use everything up. I don't know if the tolerance for these wall kits is higher or what have you. But another reason why you wouldn't do this, especially for an airlock, is attaching things like these vents. You could never actually attach them to these walls. This is a really recent development. It had to go against a frame. I always thought it was a developer's intent decision, but no, it must have been something they just had to code out. Composite wall railing. No. Composite wall will do just fine. Right, that looks fine to me. Plastic sheets to continue. Yeah, we can work with that. Plastic sheets require silicon. I mean, we've got our spare... We just have to think about what we're going to do in the future as well, you know? But I believe these should still have the sort of standard pressure resistance of the same iron kit over there, so that's fine. Is this an iron frame? Yeah, cool. Alright, well, we'll put an iron frame in the bottom. Alright. And we'll drill this out. Oh, wasn't expecting to see any of this under here. What the hell? I mean, oxide has its value for sure. We'll hold on to that. Okay. And that was 9 sheet, so we're gonna need 2... Sorry, that was an iron block, so we're gonna need 2 iron sheets. No iron. I think we've got a little spare up here. Perfect. Okay. So it's just going to be ramshackle at the moment. I'm going to build it out of whatever I've got, which I think is probably the way to go. That way we can actually get it going, and we can always tear it down. Anyway, so what I was sort of saying is, like, I like the idea of having a base that you can sort of separate into zones and cycle out, because say I do want to upgrade and replace the walls, right? But it is a pressure wall. What do I do then? You know, if I don't consider how I'm building the base from the very beginning, I'm potentially going to have to vent my entire fucking, you know, or build in a problem sort of thing. So we're going to have a way to maybe cycle individual sectors and areas sort of thing. That would be the plan. Okay, cool. Here's our airlock in the making. We'll leave that as is. I will... Let's see. Let's see. What if, just to get the ball rolling, we get like a basic room going? Wait, what am I doing? I'm getting belt confusion. Let's get like atmospherics going first. That's what people seem to be curious about. You know, it might not functionally be the next thing in line, but at the moment we're not in danger. You know, we're sort of safe, so that's all good and well. So we'll get a basic setup going. What would be the... I mean, it's not going to be hard symmetry, but let's do a 2x2 room, right? I'll make a... and we'll make it as we go. It's all very first principles. I haven't had to do something like this in a very long time. Yeah, because they do new patches. I've done a lot of, like, I've played Lulan, I've played Vulcan, all that sort of stuff. So I've done the start a lot to a point. All right. What does that need? Steel. It does just need steel sheets, the same as normal. Okay, so we're gonna need 6 iron sheets. I can only get 3. What's enough to walk on at least, so that's something. I don't think I've got any steel sheets. Oh, whoops. Alright, so...
Hunger. Caution.
Oh, that's right. I accidentally swapped that onto the floor.
Pressure. Critical.
Fuck.
Temperature.
I gotta remember that.
Oxygen.
O is turn on and I is open your helmet. So occasionally I'll open my helmet to the cold vacuum of fucking space. You know, as one does. It's good. Keeps you on your toes. Tell you what, won't be falling asleep when that happens. Alright, so let's just drill this sort of space out here. Okay. So here's our airlock. It'll come in. We'll do the crowbar sort of thing. Okay. So it's going to need to be... Now, the Mars atmosphere is a tough one. So consider for a moment, if we were on Moon and it was vacuum, all you need to do is just recycle the air back into the system. The problem with this is if we get to a good sort of a balance of an atmosphere that we've decided, you know, that we've agreed upon to be the ideal atmosphere, the Martian atmosphere will actually contaminate it. Hang on. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to swap that. We've got the ore scanner cartridge in here. Okay, so if we look at this, right? CO2, I mean that's too much CO2, not enough oxygen, and then we've got contaminant X with even in small quantities is a poison, right? So if we were to do something like that, every single time we open this airlock and go in and seal it and then cycle I know it's only 2 not atmospheres, but 2 kPa pressure. It's absolutely nothing, but we're slowly putting contaminants in. Now, I suppose we could have a robust atmospheric filtering setup on the inside. In fact, we should anyway, because that's good practice, but we can't rely on that. We couldn't build our airlock going, oh, it'll just filter out, because if it stops, by the time we know, our dude's going to be suffocating in the middle of the base, right? So we actually have to make a sort of like dual cycle airlock, in that it has to... Sorry, I'm just eating my potatoes. I forgot to do the rounds last night as well. Right? So it's going to actually need to not only cycle in, it's going to need to cycle out. We need vents in and out, basically. So getting that sort of vent infrastructure is probably going to be one of the earlier things that we do. The one thing that I sort of am thinking about, like in regards to the talk about like pipe heat radiation, is I want to eliminate... Well, we can make insulated pipes now. That's a new thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't really want pipes exposed and introducing a cooling element to this piping system, right? Because that makes it difficult for us to actually control with a proper cooling system. I don't want a cooling heating element introduced other than what we're counting on. Okay, let's look into insulated pipes. Because one option would be running it through a solid foundation block, right? If I did... You know what, that might be even easier, because I bet you anything the insulated pipes are going to require a technology. Let's check anyway, because it's good practice. Pipe. What insulated pipe? Hang on. Silicon and iron. Okay, well, we don't have any silicon lying around at the moment. I mean, we could just as easily go look for some. Yeah, I think the smarter move will be to actually, say we put the airlock controls on this side, we're actually going to build it all inside of one of these, inside of a frame. So when we seal it all up, the pipe never leaves the structure. Unfortunately, if we do it this way, you can see it's hanging out the back. And I'm not sure... I'm not 100% certain that if we were to put like a kit on the reverse side... Where'd my wool kits go? Did I not have some more wool kits left? Oh, no, I used the silicon ones, or whatever they were, the steel ones, sorry. And the wool kits were here, alright? My question would be... If I do that... And what's it need? Iron sheet. And we're out of iron. I'm gonna go under here. I think there was iron in the hole, right?
Jetpack on.
Gotta love this pop-in issue. Alright, there's definitely gold down here. I thought there was... I must have already... Oh, Jesus. I must have already attacked the iron that was poking out the wall. See, that... Therein is the problem with that. Like, if there's a specific resource that I want to dig out, I can't do it. Copper. Oh wow, so much of it too. Ah, this is what we want. Fields of iron. Right, so what I'm trying to do is enclose the pipe, if I can help it. In a fairly, like, as soon as the system becomes too much effort, then what's the point, you know? But if we can do it with a fairly simple system, then, you know, glory. Alright, cool. So let's just do this really quick. Oh yeah, I can cook those too real quick. Sheet.
Filter low.
Oh, we'll have to build a new one of those. But we've got backup filters. Because we've got a pure O2 supply, it's just I use O2 and I pop out CO2, but if we had a dirty mix, I would need different filters. I mean, look, that does seem enclosed, right? So that'll probably work, actually. Good thing I checked. So, essentially, we're going to do the same thing on this wall. We're going to have a pipe system in the back, right? And probably a vent to here or something, right? And that'll be our exhaust vent. Because you walk into the airlock closes, bang, okay. What do we need to do? We need to vent that airlock immediately to a vacuum state, essentially, right? So that's what the first part of the cycle will do, and then we need it to stick it out there, basically, and blow it out there. And then we'll have it draw air in from the base to sort of bring it up to up to pressure. I mean, I guess we could just not, but that's not very good practice. We want to do the airlock cycle properly. I'll probably have to look it up. I haven't done a proper airlock cycle in a very long time. But you know what I mean? It's good practice to do that. Because you can put like an airlock chip into a console, or it's like a motherboard sort of thing, and you can program it to be pretty smart about the in-out sort of thing. But we'll go through it, because it'll be like relearning it again. And you know how I am with tutorials. I use them very sparingly. I like to understand first principles and concepts and work it out. I am a huge proponent of that. The people that, I mean, each to their own. Look, it depends how deep and how much you want to go, but you can't really call it knowledge if you just copy paste someone's exact instructions on how to build an airlock. Because one day it's going to break, because that's how this game is. One day it's going to stop working, it's going to give you an error, and you're not going to know how to fix it, and you wouldn't even know how to start fixing it because you never took the time to learn how it works. That's not supposed to be scolding, but that's me sort of explaining the whole reason why understanding things at first principles are so important, and why, you know, copying someone else's homework does you no favors. You know, unless you just need to pass the test to get out in the real world and never use it again. I can sort of understand that. I'm not condoning cheating, but like, generally speaking, copying someone else's work doesn't get you anywhere because you don't even understand the fundamentals in the first place. Anyway, as a little bit of a side rant, but that's, you know, that's how it marries in and why I'm a big fan. Some people get frustrated at me on Kerbal as a side, right? Like, oh, I don't understand why you're doing it this way and that. It's like, I think that's a bit of an ignorant statement. Like, you could understand why I'm doing it if you took the time. I think what people truly mean is, why aren't you doing it my way? What they should be doing is actually going, all right, well, he's trying to do that because he doesn't have the knowledge that I Googled or learnt myself. But anyway, that's a bit ranty, but you know, you love a good rant here on the channel. So we're going to basically do an airlock cycle, and I'm pretty much in the dark for all the programming on that because I haven't done it since bloody launch. So we'll figure it all out together, and hopefully you'll see me stumble through it and it makes more sense for you as well. Anyway, team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.